When I first hurt my lower back, the pain was scary, like genuinely scary. But what messed with me the most was not knowing if I'd ever move the same way again. That fear is what brings me to the first thing I wish I understood back then, which is lesson one: pain does not equal severity. Because if you asked me how severe I thought my injury was at the time, I would have told you I might never walk again. It was, the pain was unbelievable. I could barely move for days. What I didn't understand yet is that pain is influenced by more than just tissue damage. Your nervous system, fear, stress, and inflammation all play a critical role. That's why two different people can have similar injuries but completely different pain experiences. So remember, high initial pain doesn't automatically mean a catastrophic injury. In fact, according to research summarized by the National Library of Medicine, most people with lumbar disc herniation see significant improvement over time with conservative care without surgery. Even the Cleveland Clinic says the same thing. But if you're anything like me, you probably still weren't convinced. You're probably still wondering, what if I'm one of the people who actually does need surgery? That's the exact question I spent an unreasonable amount of time obsessing over. So let me save you some time and maybe a few scary WebMD spirals. So here's some signs that if I ever saw in a client or in myself, I would recommend they or me go get checked out immediately. Now, side note, these symptoms don't necessarily mean that you need surgery. They just mean that you need a professional eye to take a look at them, maybe with some imaging. And these red flags would be: number one, loss of bowel or bladder control; number two, numbness in the groin or inner thigh area; number three, progressive weakness like noticeable strength loss or foot drop; or number four, severe pain in the lower back that does not change with position. And if those red flags aren't present, then that's when the conversation shifts to lesson number two: movement is medicine. And this was really a hard one for me early on. During my first flare-up, I barely moved at all. I was scared to feel pain because in my head, pain was a constant reminder that the problem was still there and maybe not getting better. So every time something hurt, I stopped, I avoided movement. And that turned into both a physical and a psychological problem. Mentally, I started associating movement with danger. Physically, my body tightened up. I moved less, I got stiffer, and everything started to feel more fragile. Instead, what I wish I focused on was small, pain-free, or minimal pain movements. Nothing aggressive, nothing heroic, just enough movement to keep my body from locking down and remind it that movement was still safe. Because movement does more than just stretch muscles. Gentle mechanical movement helps circulate blood and fluid through the lower back. That helps flush out waste products, bring nutrients in, and calm the irritation. Your spine is not designed to be frozen. It responds better to gentle, regular motion. Avoiding movement for too long can actually make your lower back more sensitive over time. Smart, tolerable movement helps it feel safer and more resilient. And this leads to the third thing, which I wish I knew sooner, and that is lesson three: daily movement matters. Because once I felt confident enough to exercise again, I made a different mistake. I thought going back to the gym and strengthening my core and lower back would be the singular fix. And don't get me wrong, that's important too, but rebuilding my back wasn't just about what I did in the gym. It was how I moved during the other 23 hours of the day. Look, the gym mattered, strength mattered, loading mattered. It just wasn't the whole picture. What I didn't realize yet is that you can't rebuild tolerance in a 1-hour gym session and then spend the rest of the day barely moving, staying stiff, or avoiding motion. One good workout can't do an entire day of not moving or moving poorly. What actually helped was paying attention to my daily movement, how often I walked, how long I stayed in one position, how frequently I gave my back low stress chances to move. That daily movement is what keeps the blood and fluid moving through the spine. This is what helps tissue stay hydrated, and it's what prevents everything from tightening back up between workouts. The gym helped me build strength, but daily movements is what helped me rebuild tolerance, confidence, and momentum. That's why recovery isn't about finding that one perfect exercise or stretch. It's about stacking tolerable movements throughout the day and letting that consistently add up over time. So if you're rebuilding your foundation right now, don't just ask, what should I do when I get to the gym? Also ask, how am I moving the rest of the day? Because again, daily movement matters. And if this resonates with you and you want any kind of help applying this step by step, you can check out the link below for my back pain blueprint course. It goes into all of this in more detail, and I have the first few sections for free, so you don't have to worry about any kind of money and start building some momentum today. Feel free to leave a comment or a question down below, and I will be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, have a good one.